Hey everybody, Lou Dini here. LouLombardiMusic.com/learn for more stuff. There's the buttons and stuff here in the thing, and click those if that suits your fancy. I want to talk today about noodling. Single coil pickups, by the way. Noodling. This is one of those topics in the guitar space here on YouTube that gets a bad rap, and there was some not viral, but some popular videos about different players talking about how they're so mad at themselves for noodling and how noodling is ruining their playing and how dare you noodle because your noodle will get all too noodled up and you'll be whatever. I want to talk to you guys today about productive noodling because I don't believe that all noodling is evil and is messing you up and is ruining your life. So, anytime, in my opinion, anytime you spend with this is good time. Period. It doesn't matter. The more time spent in your hand. I remember hearing a interview with Larry Carlton many years ago where he said that one of the best things he ever did was a lot of times he would come in from playing baseball or being out with his friends or whatever, and he would just sit there with the guitar unplugged while he talked to his, he said it was his sister. And he said it was just having the hands on the guitar and feeling good with it in your hands. And like I do sometimes during the lesson, I can't help myself. So the idea is that any time spent with the thing in your hand is healthy, is good, is practical. Right, it's not hardcore practice. I just did there's a video on my channel about practicing. You can go look at that but that's more focused type practicing. Not every time we pick up the guitar are we going to sit down and really, get serious about this solo we're learning or get serious about these finger exercises or these whatever we're working on. There's and it can be and this can be productive in different ways by doing different things. By the way, and I've said this a couple of times, if you see me glancing over here, that's because I have my notes here. I'm good, and with notes, I'm shitty at memorizing. So it's better for me to have some notes to kind of refer to, or the whole thing goes off the rails and it's a cluster. Like I said, not highly focused practice is necessary all the time. Sometimes you want to just have a more relaxed, chill kind of time with the guitar, and that's totally fun. So let's talk about some stuff that we can do while so-called noodling to maybe make it a little bit more productive. Again, we're not going to get super serious, but just a couple things that you could add in that might make it just a little bit more than farting around. You can work on, so you have your noodle licks, right? What are some, I don't know. Now I can't even think of a noodle lick because I'm sitting down this video. So that's just I just top of my head kind of thing, right? So what about maybe working on something like that and seeing maybe you can build a tempo. So instead of just keeping it so relaxed, maybe see if you can work up the tempo a little wee bit. See if you can challenge yourself with the licks that you already play. Move your noodle licks around the neck. So that's A. How about in C? Right? So now I had to think a little wee bit about, okay, you can't have an open A. I have to have the C there at the 3rd fret, 5th string, etc. If you're playing with a pick, put the pick aside. And do some stuff with the fingers. Notice that each time I play that, I'm not playing the exact same thing because we're noodling. We're not practicing a specific thing. We're just having a little bit of fun with it. So if it's something you're playing with a pick, see if you can put the pick aside or do some hybrid picking. Add a little thing there, whatever. So see if you can do a little bit of that. Time. I did not say this in the practice video, but I knew a band director who would say that the difference between sort of noodling and practicing is time. So adding time to what you do. So what do I mean by adding time? Instead of, excuse me, instead of just playing freely, put time on. Use, of course, talking about time, I didn't drag out a damn metronome, but hold on. This one is broken, but this is what a metronome is. It allows you to set the time. This one, of course, is... Wait a minute. Is it working? If you can hear that. There you are. It's not the loudest metronome, but add time to what you're doing. So if you add time to it... Now, all of a sudden, it's a little bit more than just farting around or just noodling. And it helps develop that sense of time while you are doing something not so structured or not so hardcore, not so concentrated. Add chord structure. I was kind of already doing this, but one of the things I got into doing when I noodle is to pick a chord. I'll do something with chords, meaning I don't mean just play chord. Although you could, I do something where I try to play some noodle licks or some solo licks, but create a chord progression. Best if I demonstrate. See if I can do this without totally screwing this up. Let me better tempo. C, F, G, so the chord progression was C, F, back to C, back to F. F, G, so I'm just noodling around on some blues, but I'm giving it a shape by creating a chord structure. Now, you don't have to actually play the chords. You can kind of just have them in your head or whatever. Play the chords. Okay, yeah, play the chord. Then the licks. So you can go. So you can even do something like this. If you want to do something less complicated or less bluesy, you can even go. So took a simple progression, kind of noodling around, but there's a shape to it and there's a kind of a time to it. You can combine chord shapes, chord progressions, and time at the same time. Oh, time! It's all about the time today. You can, and even if you don't want to play the full chord progression, you can just add harmony notes. So say you're going to do. The fact that I added that C and that G together kind of hints at added that E and that G together. That hints at the C chord. So I played an F, but then I added an A note. Here again, there's the E and the G, which hints at the C chord. Little bit of, if you guys that like music theory. So then if I added an F sharp note, what chord do you think we're doing there? We're doing a secondary dominant on the 2. So the chord progression. That's just the idea. So you can just have the chord in your head. Practice adding a note to kind of emphasize it or to accent it so that maybe you can kind of hear that there's a chord there without actually playing any chords. You could do things like work on your picking as part. So take your noodle riffs and practice the different ways that you know how to pick them. Start them on upstrokes, start them on downstrokes, etc. Use this time to reduce tension. So if you're noodling and you're going, oh wow, just pay real close there. Am I pressing those fingers down on the left hand too hard? Am I picking too hard? Pay attention to stuff like that, and then try to relieve the tension as you go. If you play in front of the television, almost everything that you watch on TV has music to it. So one of the fun things you can do is to see if you can pick out the melody, the chords, or whatever to whatever music is being played on TV if you're doing along with the TV. Take the time to explore the neck. If you do a like that, where else could you play that? I don't know. You could try. Remember, it's noodling, not practice, so it doesn't have to be exact. So we're doing. That's it. That's it. I found it. Noodling before your eyes, folks. So I just transposed to a different part of the guitar. So you just take your noodle line and say, oh, I always play that here. Well, where else can I do that? How else can I finger that? How about this? No, here it is. Noodling in real time. Take major and make it minor. That's a fun thing to do. Or just make up new lines. Take the time to make up a new line and then add that to your to your noodle sessions. And speaking of making up new stuff, so we're going to close with this. Keep a notebook and or some type of recording device nearby and like ready to go. Because sometimes when you're noodling, you come up with cool licks that you go like, oh crap, like that's something like I could make part of my arsenal of things that I do. Or you can come up with song or / riff ideas that you can work up if you're a songwriter, or riffs and ideas that you can present to your band. There's so many things you can do in a sort of less intense mode by just kind of being more relaxed, even with the television on, even if you have your phone there and you're just casually, like occasionally looking at TikTok or Instagram, having your guitar there, you never know what can inspire you as well. So don't poo-poo noodling. Find some ways to make your noodling productive. That's all I'm saying. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. LouLombardi.com/learn to become part of the community where we hang out and you can ask me questions in real time and we can figure things out for you and help you out. Also, there's the YouTube buttons and crap here. Press that stuff if you like. All right. So thank you so much for hanging out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I promise I'm coming back.